Hello, and thank you for joining us. I appreciate you taking the time to work on developing your English skills and personal growth. Long ago, in a royal kingdom, there lived a young princess named Snow White who was admired for her extraordinary appearance and gentle personality. After her mother passed away, her father married another woman who later became her stepmother. This woman ruled as queen, but she was deeply arrogant and obsessed with her own beauty. She constantly relied on a magical mirror that could reveal the truth about anything she asked. Every day, the queen questioned the mirror about who was the most beautiful woman in the land. For many years, the mirror confirmed that she was unmatched in beauty. However, as Snow White matured, the mirror eventually revealed that the young princess had surpassed the queen in appearance. Enraged and consumed by jealousy, the queen decided that Snow White had to be eliminated. The entire conflict of the story is driven by the queen's inability to accept losing her status. To carry out her plan, the queen commanded a royal huntsman to escort Snow White into the forest and end her life. She demanded proof of the act. Yet when the huntsman witnessed Snow White's innocence and terror, he was overcome with compassion and chose not to harm her. Instead, he warned her of the queen's intentions and urged her to flee and hide where she could never be found. Frightened and alone, Snow White ran deeper into the wilderness, overwhelmed by fear and confusion. Exhausted from wandering, she eventually encountered woodland animals that guided her to a small cottage hidden among the trees. The cottage belonged to 7 dwarves who spent their days mining precious gems. Each dwarf had a distinct personality, ranging from wise and responsible to cheerful, shy, or clumsy. When they returned home and discovered Snow White inside, they were initially suspicious. After hearing her story and recognizing her kindness, they allowed her to remain with them. Snow White then took on household duties, preparing meals and cleaning their home, bringing comfort and happiness into their daily lives. The dwarves soon became a protective and supportive family for her. Meanwhile, the queen once again consulted her mirror and learned that Snow White was still alive. Furious that her plan had failed, she decided to take matters into her own hands. Using dark magic, she created a potion that transformed her appearance into a frail old woman. She also prepared a deadly apple containing a powerful curse that would place anyone who tasted it into a deep, death-like unconsciousness. Disguised as an elderly vendor, the queen traveled to the dwarf's home while they were away working. Although forest animals attempted to warn Snow White about the stranger, she trusted the old woman. The queen convinced her to sample the apple, pretending it was harmless and delicious. The moment Snow White bit into it, the poison immediately took effect, causing her to collapse into a lifeless sleep. When the dwarves returned and realized what had happened, they were overwhelmed with sorrow and anger. Determined to punish the person responsible, they chased the disguised queen through the mountains during a violent storm. While attempting to escape, she lost her footing and plunged from a steep cliff, bringing her reign of cruelty to an end. Her fate symbolized the destructive consequences of envy and vanity. Unable to wake Snow White and unwilling to bury her, the dwarves placed her inside a transparent glass coffin decorated with flowers. They remained beside her, grieving her loss while preserving her beauty, which seemed untouched by death. Eventually, a prince who had previously met Snow White and fallen in love with her arrived in the forest. When he discovered her lying inside the glass coffin, he was devastated. Overcome with emotion, he expressed his love through a tender kiss. This sincere act of love broke the spell, causing Snow White to regain consciousness as the poison's effect disappeared. In the end, Snow White left the forest with the prince, and together they began a joyful new chapter of life. The tale ultimately highlights timeless lessons about kindness triumphing over cruelty, the dangers of jealousy and pride, and the extraordinary strength of genuine love. If you find this video interesting and helpful, please give me a like and subscribe.